I was reflecting on this fixture, this rivalry, when writing the run sheet for this episode. And I think in the last 20 or so years, it's really been this tale of only one of these teams can be good at one time. It's, looking back previously, we were dominating Richmond in round one. You'd basically just pencil it in every single time that, okay, that's a 50 to 100 point belting every single time. How good's this? And then the table flipped. Richmond had one of their most successful periods in club history. And it's really only been over the last few years we've been able to finally claw some wins back. And, at one stage we hadn't beaten Richmond for 8 seasons. We finally got that win round 1, 2022. And since then, the record has been a 25-point win for us, a 5-point win, a draw, and a 15-point loss. That's 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And I think most of this Richmond team, they still don't respect Carlton. And to be honest, fair enough. They have toyed with us for years. And even in our wins, we've never really gotten that handle on them. I'm looking at round 1 this year. Richmond came out of the blocks. They were there fighting with us the whole time. It didn't matter that Richmond are starting their rebuild, that they're not that good anymore. They still don't buy into it that Carlton are this superstar team because their memories are not of that. And we just haven't had that big statement win that really sets the tone and lets Richmond know that this is our fixture now. It's going to be a world of pain every time you play us from here on out. And I think that's what I'm, building up as the important piece of this game is that Richmond right now, they're floundering in 17th position on the ladder, second last. They're at the start of their rebuild. We're sitting second on the ladder. We're beginning our period of hopefully success and dominance, the premiership window, as a lot like to say. And I think this is our real opportunity to give back that hurt and make this fixture one where Richmond players are dreading it for the next 5 to 10 years, maybe the way that we did when we were down the bottom for so long, and just flipping that tide once and for all. And that was really going to be the question that I was going to lead in to ask Lockie straight away, talking about the way that we beat Geelong last week, what this fixture is, knowing that we're coming up against a team that's out of form, sitting second bottom, can't seem to really get many wins and great performances. Is, do we need to see another big demolition-esque performance against Richmond like we saw against Geelong? Or is it just about getting the win? Doesn't matter what the performance is, just continue to bank these wins, get them however you need to, and just keep pushing away from the rest and cement yourself as that second spot on the ladder. And it's really the interesting part of this. And I want to know all your thoughts. So if you're watching on YouTube on Blue Abroad, drop it in the comments. Do we need that performance? Is that what's going to make you happy from this game? Are you going to walk away from this if it is just a 5-point win and be disappointed? Or are you in the other camp that it's not necessarily just about the performances? We have shown enough against enough teams now that the wins are kind of all that matters. The performances aren't necessarily the be-all and end-all. That's the interesting point. I think where I stand is really that it is about the performance right now. We're in that process of building our resume, showing that we are the contenders. And it's not just about doing this week in, week out to let others know. When I'm looking at this fixture in particular and the history, like I talked about at the start of this episode, with Richmond, we have not made that statement to them. Even now that we're starting to win these fixtures, we have not demonstrated to these players that have hurt us for years that we're the big dogs now. So I think it's about time that we absolutely wipe the floor with them. And I don't think that that's an arrogant thing to say. I just really believe that a statement victory over Richmond will just set the tone for years to come, where they will now dread this fixture. They won't think that they're a sniff. They won't think, oh, we've got Carlton. They're not that big. That's their grand final. They're not going to have that sentiment anymore. Carlton versus Richmond is going to be Richmond's big game because they don't have any anymore. And I want them to be thinking every time they come up against Carlton, shit, they beat us by 100 points last time. It's going to be another world of hurt. So I think a big performance is almost more important than just the win. But I mean, conversely, let's be real. If we just get the win, however you get it, it's all about banking them, getting that top 4 spot. I won't begrudge a 5-point win, but I know I definitely want more.